Hey, all right, welcome. Hey, Dom.
Hey, look at that. Stylishly coming in right on time there. Kyle, you are the host of the most today. Good stuff. How you doing?
Yeah, doing very well. I still have a little jet lag. I had to fly from California, so that's a 9-hour time difference, but I am here. I'm with it. Look, I've even got some coffee just to perk me up.
Hey, you always bring the celebrity razzle dazzle to these shows, and we do appreciate it. We love it. Let's have a look at some of the things on here. We've got Year 5, St. Mary Church in Wales. Good there. Was that Bryn Mawr? Bryn Mawr, there we go. This is where my bad Welsh. I give it a go though. At least I give it a go. Hello
Hey,
from
for it.
Sweden in the Skull Brew. This is a tough one. Cairenion. Clanfair, Cairenion. Okay. We got some more. Oh no. Right.
Wow.
Does Bartiaw down? The Skull Penny Bryn. Colwyn. I know that one. Okay. You've got all sorts going on here. What
Don't
have we
throw it to
got?
me, please, Dom, because I cannot do it. I've got to do some learning. I'm still trying to learn German over here.
We got loads going on here. Oh, Anglesey. Love a bit of Anglesey. Oh, I've been there so many times. Good stuff. Nantagrois. What have we got? Blimey, look at it. It's just, we're overwhelmed. That one. Oh, I got that one last time. Bluidin, but the skull bit at the end. I mean, we haven't got time for me to try and work that one out. Good stuff. Charles Williams Primary. We've got Skull Pink Guy. Pink, yeah, maybe. Derwemba. I think that one is.
Nice.
There we go. Anyway, we've got all sorts going on. Thank you so much for being here. It's great to be here. And what are we celebrating today? What are we
So today,
remembering?
yeah, Remembrance Day.
That would be a much
We
better way of saying it.
Great activity for you today. And Dom, I know we talked about this. This is one of those lesser appreciated ways to use Express, I think, for creativity. Is I'm a huge fan of collage, and today we're all going to figure out a way to use multiple photos and put together some cool designs using some special tricks and techniques. And it's all for Remembrance Day for World War
Yeah,
One.
there you go. And just to make sure that Carl knows that I have got some tech working in the background now, here's the page.
There you are.
We've got some tech, maybe not all, but we got some. Right. This page hopefully should be in your inboxes somewhere. By the way, teachers, if you have been receiving strange communications from me, I did have a lot of problems with my emails over the last week, including right into this morning. So if you've been getting multiple emails or all sorts of mad stuff from me, please do accept my apologies. I'm doing my best to try and make sure that everyone's got links and stuff like that. But anyway, here we go. Edwards Primary. Good to see you, Castleberg. Right. You should have this page. You can access it via the short link, bit.ly/express poppy. And you can also access it via the QR code there. You can just hold up your, iPad thing up to the screen, use the camera app, open that up, and it'll go right through to that page. Right. Let's have a quick look at it. Kyle, talk us through this one because this is your masterpiece.
Yeah, okay. Well, thank you. Masterpiece is a strong word, Dom, but what we have here is an example of the kind of thing we're going to be creating, which is a postcard with our own original art. Yours is not going to look like mine. All of these will look slightly different, and you'll see why in a moment when we actually get to the creation part of it. But we're going to do a postcard for Remembrance. This is the kind of thing that you can simply save the image. You can send it out. You can post it, but you could also print it and have it be something that every year, if you want to post it up in the home or outside on the door as a sign for showing that you're honoring Remembrance Day, that's great. Dom, I was in Harrogate about 4 or 5 years ago. We were right in the middle of having a little brunch with some friends, some comics artists, and suddenly everything just went silent, and everybody was doing the Remembrance Day remembrance. And me being a foreigner, not knowing what was going on, I was a little bit sort of confused, but I did it, and it was a really interesting moment. Very, very cool. So yeah, there you go. That's what we're making for part one. That's the first challenge.
Yeah, it's definitely a nice form of respect for sure. And then challenge 2, we're going to be making a website or a web page. By the way, there's a button on this first one. If you click it, it will open up this tab here, which is good for challenge 1 and challenge 2 actually. So do use both of those. But challenge 2, it's the same button there. This one says click me. And that'll just give you a load of text that you can use for this second one, which is a Remembrance Day webpage with all the kind of info, exactly what Remembrance Day is about, the history of it and how it's developed and things like that. You can see the things down here, title section, origins, 2-minute silence, what that's about, what the poppy's about, and what happens in other countries. So we're going to make a web page using Express Page if you're on the app, or just the browser if you're on the normal browser. Right. What I think we'll do now is just give very quickly, because I know that we're running over a little bit because there's a lot of waffle from me going on. Rules. Rule number 1, what can they do at any time, Kyle?
You can pause. Remember, this is recorded and you can continue to go at your own pace. So if you need to pause, pause. Don't worry, you won't lose us.
Yeah, exactly. Pause. And we will be going back from Kyle on the browser and me on the iPad app. We'll be going back fairly quickly. So do kind of wait before you pause, just because you will get some time to catch up. Don't feel like as soon as you fall behind, you have to pause. Do kind of wait for a bit. And if you need to, then you can pause. That's no problem. Rule number 2, what happens if they complete their challenges, Kyle?
Well, if you complete your challenges, there's a good chance you might get some SWAG, right, Dom?
Yeah, swag. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, as always, we're always sending out swag. So make sure you pester your teacher mercilessly after the session if you've completed your challenge to make sure you get your swag. Hello to Mr. Jones as well. Borodao or Prananda, indeed. And then rule number 3, what happens if they go on and teach other people their skills?
Well, that means you're going to get some extra special goodies because you've really gone above and beyond, and we appreciate that.
Yeah, exactly. That's such a nice way of saying it. You've gone above and beyond, and we appreciate it. Right. Kyle, you happy for me to stick your screen on?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's get going. This one's going to be well cool.
Okay.
I do send all the artistic ones to Kyle and just say, Kyle, just go and do some of your magic things on it. And then he comes back and he never disappoints. So let's go.
And you can all follow along with this, and you're all going to be great artists today. We're going to use some really fun, cool techniques. And what we want to do is make a postcard. Now, you might not see postcard as one of the options right here, right out of the gate. Don't worry. You can always use our little handy dandy plus sign up here, the purple plus. Just tap on that. And right here in the search bar, I'm going to type POSTC. And voila, we have postcard right there.
Nice.
So just tap on postcard. Is automatically going to create a horizontal or landscape, okay, canvas for my postcard, but I want it to be vertical. So how do I change that? Very simple, very easy. I just come up here to where it says resize, and we tap on that. And here it'll show me my width and my height. Okay, so currently it's 6 inches wide by 4 inches tall. I'm just going to swap those. So I'll make the width 4, and then I'll highlight the height here and make that 6. And when I'm happy with that, I come down here and I say resize, and there you go. So now we've got our vertical postcard.
Nice.
Okay. All right, time to make some art.
All righty.
So here we have our media. All right, and I'm just going to do a very simple search for the color red, which will represent the poppy flower. Here we go, R-E-D, red.
That's it.
Now,
that's it.
That's it. Now, the reason for such a simple search like this is because then what I'm going to get in return for the first results are things that are predominantly red. These are backgrounds and patterns and all kinds of close-up photos and things. And this is exactly the kind of stuff that I want. So first things first, I like this. I like this. They have some texture and some interesting shapes and patterns. I'll just select this first one up here. And Express is going to place that image on my canvas. I'll enlarge it because I intend to crop this image. And this is, Dom, this is one of the things we want to show today, which is the ability to crop photos and use them as ingredients in your cool art that you're making. This is a neat thing. Now, to crop it, you'll notice over here we have various options. As it's loading, we'll have generative fill, erase, remove background. But here we have crop. So I'm just going to tap on that. And this top section gives you crops that are preset sizes for things that you would use for maybe like Instagram or posting on YouTube as a thumbnail or something like that. But down here is where it gets really interesting. Shapes right there. Aha. So the first thing I'll do is just grab this semicircle, half circle. And once I do that, you'll notice I now have these new, what we call handles, okay,
Yes.
that are framing the photo. Now, if I drag one of those like this, and
Oh
then I can
yeah.
move my photo,
Oh
make that
yeah.
bigger. Now what we're doing is we are only revealing part of the photo and revealing it in a specific shape. I'll tap anywhere else on the canvas outside of this box and look at the result. So
Whoa.
there's that photo in a semicircle crop.
Okie dokie.
All
Well, I
righty.
tell you what, can I just barge in here
Of course.
and just get our iPad people off and running just to that point, and then I'll let you sort of do a few more things. But just
Yeah.
because I know that iPad people might be getting nervous now, so thinking, what's going on? What about me? So
Not to worry.
let's go here. So I'm on the iPad now. Kyle, you can do this in a slightly different way. I've got my home screen here. You can see it down the bottom. I've got home selected right down the bottom. But I think, I don't think it really matters what size it is. So I'm going to go to flyers. You can see that underneath start from scratch in the top left, there's flyers there. I'm just going to push that. And then we kind of get something which is a similar size to what Carl's doing.
As long as
So
it's vertical, you're good.
yeah, exactly. So in what happens in these with the iPad is you have double tap to text to edit text. I'm just going to select that. You can see down the bottom then I can go to edit, which is in the bottom left, and there's a little bin there. Let's stick that text right in the bin where it belongs. There we go. Now, to get where Kyle was, let me just work this out. I'm going to go to add in the bottom left here. I'm going to go to Adobe Stock. And then get all sorts of photos up here. And then I'm going to go into the search box in the top right. And I'm going to go in there and I'm going to go red because Carl's inspired me with his red. You took the very first. You took
There
the
you
very
go.
first one, didn't you? I think.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with that. Now, they don't have to choose that first one, do they? They could go with something slightly.
No,
In
choose
fact, you
whatever
know
you
what?
want.
Why don't I go rogue here? I'm going to go rogue.
Go
And
rogue.
then Kyle can get me back on track later. I'm going to grab something like that. That looks like glittery and sequiny. Why not? And then there's add one in the top. Now, this is slightly different iPad to normal screen. So it's a browser experience. I'm going to go move freely. That's important. Go move freely. And now you're in here. You can see down the bottom, you've got crop and shape. You can see that next to replace and in between replace and remove background. Crop and shape, that one there. I've got my finger on it. You can see it's just gone gray. And then Kyle did a semicircle, as those glamorous people in the US say. And I'm going to go for a semicircle. There you go, Carl. And then always got to remember on the iPad because sometimes I forget. Click done. Now you can move this around. You can sort of pinch in and zoom out and stuff like that. Maybe I'll just zoom in a bit, make it a little bit more dreamy. Get a bit more contrast by moving it around, and then click done. And then we are right back where the magician is, and let's get him back on the screen and see where we're going next.
Perfect. Dom, you nailed that. And yeah, the process is a little different on the iPad, but the result is the same. And as we go forward, a lot of this stuff will be mostly the same, but occasionally there'll be a slightly different processing. Dom, anytime you want to kick it over and make sure that you're caught up on the iPad side, I don't want to leave anybody hanging.
Never, not your style. I love it.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm just going to resize it by making it a little smaller. And I'm going to be building a poppy flower with various shapes like this. So I'm going to rotate this just to make it a bit more interesting, give it a bit of an angle. All right, and I'll put it right there. Now I'm just going to repeat this process several times to create different petals. And that's how we're making a collage illustration of the poppy flower. By the way, my parents' dog's name is Poppy, so I don't know what if that means anything, but
my niece's name is Poppy. There you go.
well, how about that? We've got a good strong connection to Poppy. All right. So coming back now, I'm just going to close this little set of options because once I do that, I'm right back in my media with the same search that I was using right here, red. And again, so many cool choices. And one of the things I'm thinking about is contrast. Now, I really like this image here. It's got some red, but it also has some black. And the reason I like that is if you've ever seen a poppy flower, you know that the center of the poppy flower is in fact black.
Right.
So one thing I can do is I can take this and I'll just make that a little bit bigger. And there we go. I'm going to position it in such a way that I'm hopefully going to carve out just a little bit of the black in there and make that work. So let's go back to cropping again. And we
Yeah.
do have lots and lots of different shapes here. Very nice. Let's see, I might try, I think for this one, an oval. So I'll
Okay.
tap on the oval. And you'll notice that I've got a little black right there. I can position this wherever I want and
Mhm.
resize it, etc., etc. I can even take the handles here and I can look at this. I can actually make that oval
Oh,
skinnier or
yeah, like
wider,
squeeze.
which
Nice.
is quite nice. Quite nice.
Mm.
All right, so there's that little bit of black in the corner there. So what I'll do is I'll take that and I'll just tap elsewhere. There we go.
Huh? Yeah.
Now I can take that and resize it. And that little shape right there, that area right there, could become the center of the poppy flower.
Yeah.
Now, you don't have to do this. You could always make your own. You could simply make a black shape and pop that in at the very last minute on top of the poppy flower as well. There are lots of ways to do this.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't have to find a photo with black in it. I'm just suggesting this as a way to do it. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll put that right there. I can then resize a little bit. And later I'm going to overlap it with some other shapes. Okay.
Mhm.
So I'll do one more and then should I kick it back over to you,
Yeah.
Dom?
Good idea. Good idea.
Yeah. All right. I'm just going right back to my search results. Here's another lovely one. I really like that. Very nice. Now you all know the drill. You know the process. I take the photo and I can crop it. But here's where I can show you something fancy. Okay.
Oh yeah, we love this
Here we
bit.
go.
Drum
Yeah.
roll.
Now, on the desktop, if you're using a Chromebook or using a laptop or something like that, and you're using Express, there is an option here right away for erase.
Mm.
So I'm just going to tap on that. Now, the first thing that comes up for your erasing is this option that says quick selection. I don't
Oh,
want that. I don't want that. I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to hit the drop down menu and change it to circle brush.
oh,
All
this is
right.
a nice tip.
Now here's where it gets fun. Ready? I'm just going to erase the photo. I'm just going to go whoop like that.
Oh yeah.
And like I would do in erasing. Okay. And what I'm going to do is just kind of make a shape. Like I'm going to move at an angle here.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe just kind of do a little curve on that side. And I'll just erase away all this other stuff here. Okay. And then when I
Yeah.
say done, look at that. I've got my own custom shape.
Very nice.
Now I can resize that and I can rotate it and do whatever I need to do. Pretty cool, right?
Yeah, very nice.
So now I've got this shape that did not exist. It's completely unique. And we just made it happen by erasing.
Yeah. And
So,
where are you going to stick
Dom,
that?
can you show how to do that on the iPad?
Yeah, delighted to. Let's delete a couple of things that we did there, and then let me take it back over. Right. So while you people on your fancy Dan laptops and Chromebooks and desktops and things like that, let me show you how to do this on the iPad. Now it is going to be a slightly different sort of process. One of the things that is better about doing it on the iPad is if you go to Adobe Stock, which is where all your free images live, and then you put in red, rather than having to go back and forth all the time, what you can do on here is you can select multiple, which is quite cool. So what am I going to do here? I might select that one because you'll see in the top it says add one. You can see that just by the search bar. And then also I'm going to select that second one. That was one that Kyle had as well. So I've got two selected with two blue ticks, and then I can go in there and add them both at the same time, add them both to move freely. And you can see now this is what we can do. Which Carl was kind of going back and forth and doing now. We've got them both on there. So let's go.
That's useful.
Yeah, it is. So let's go to the oval. Now, what Carl was saying is he wanted the sort of black part of the poppy. So I'm going to get that. It's down in my sort of bottom kind of square there. And then maybe he made his a bit narrower. You know, you don't have to do this, but to be honest, I mean, when you see the kind of stuff that Carl does, you're like, do you know what? I just quite like the way Carl does it. So let's get that done. And then this one here. Now, this is going to be slightly different because we don't have that option to erase things, but we can make interesting shapes. So we can do that kind of right angle triangle and use that sort of thing. And you can zoom in to get a bit more, you get a bit more kind of interest, and you can also zoom it around. Maybe I'll go along the contrast lines, not contrast lines, sort of detail, so grain lines that it's got going on there. And then I'll click done. And then it's all about trying to just move these in the right place. Now, I'm going to select the oval one. Now, Carl, you rotated yours. I'm trying to remember what kind of way you did yours. It was kind of like this way, I think. Not that it
Exactly
matters.
like that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, obviously do sort of play around with it as you wish. But I am just, happy to follow along with Carl's vibe because he always has a good vibe going on. And then this one here, now that you can see, this one is on top, which is good. You do want that to be on top, and you see it's covering all of those. You can change the order. You see, if I do that, go to order, and then I can move the slider, and it will pop behind one, pop behind two, pop up, pop to the front again. Now this one, Carl, give me some direction on where you think this would be a good place to go.
Well, on the desktop, I know that with a triangle, you can elongate the triangle so it's not a perfect 90-90, a 90-45.
Yeah, I know. I
But I
think
don't know if you can do that on the iPad.
freeform. Let's try freeform. No, not in the same way. Oh,
Oh, there you go.
yeah.
Yeah, so
There we
that
go.
helps it gives it a shape that's a little easier to work with. So you have one end that's skinnier,
Yeah.
and I
Okay, cool.
was gonna use a triangle as well. So I'll try that myself in a moment.
Yeah. So
But yeah,
maybe,
I
I
think
mean,
that
maybe
helps.
this can actually go behind another shape. I don't know really. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop over to Carl's screen and just have a look to see what's going on there.
Oh, I'm
Right.
just playing around. And I'm going to now do the same thing. Now, I couldn't do the multiple selections like you, but my plan is to have probably just two more,
Right.
and then reuse maybe one or two of them if I need to.
I
The
see.
Yeah. So,
Pretty cool.
all right. So
Yeah.
let's try. I've got a whole bunch here to play with. And I
So I think,
really like this one. You were using one that had sort of this sparkling kind of look, right?
I did like that.
That's kind of nice. This is really nice. It's the thing is, if you think about having some contrast, right? You could even use something like this, which has a brick to it.
Right.
It doesn't have to all be, the same. Remember,
Mm,
it's a collage. So, and if you look, all these reds, they're similar enough that
yeah.
it'll look like one thing. In fact, you could even do something like this. See
Ooh.
that? It's
Hello.
got like a lace kind of
Yes.
wallpaper kind of vibe to it.
Yeah. Very
That's really
friendly.
nice. I really like that. So
Yeah.
why don't I go again to cropping it? And this time, yeah, I could try maybe the triangle. And like I said, with the triangle, you can sort of stretch and pull and do whatever you want to get a shape you like.
Yeah.
And I can take that and we'll just, again, resize, place it somewhere. And I'll just fiddle around with it until I feel like I've got something kind of cool happening. If I want that black area there to stand out in the center, I can crop it by simply taking this triangle and I can control the shape that gets made there by using an edge or whatever I
Right.
want. This is the fun part. This is where you have to get creative and decide, how do I want it to look? And
Yeah.
remember, it doesn't have to look like mine. Everyone's is going to look a little different. That's the whole
True.
point.
That's
Okay.
true. Yeah.
And here, Dom, let's not forget, any one of these images can be adjusted further. So if you feel like, well, things are starting to look kind of the same and maybe I want more contrast, don't forget you have effects and adjustments that you
Yeah.
can use for the
So
photo.
what
So for
kind of effects
example,
and adjustments are you thinking here then?
well, for this one, for example, if I push the highlights up and the brightness up, see that?
Okay.
It's going to change how much that stands out, right?
Gotcha. Yeah.
Bring the shadows down. I can
Yeah.
increase the contrast, decrease the contrast. There are lots of things I can do to make that just pop a little bit more or
Yeah.
less, depending on what I want to do.
Okay.
You can increase saturation, decrease saturation, all these different options. So you have a lot of control over the final look of what you're doing. So I'll
Right.
just do one more,
Yeah.
and then I'll probably wind up reusing one little bit or two, and I'll
Yeah.
probably use the eraser again.
Right. Okay.
So let's see, we have so many cool choices here. This is kind of neat. There, I like that. So that's like that's actually, there's a technical term for that. Bokeh. Now I don't know how to say it. Bokeh? I don't know. And it's
Bokeh.
a photography term for when you get reflections in the lens. When you're
Oh
having,
yeah.
they make these blurry little circles and hexagons. I think they're really hexagons, or maybe octagons. I'm not sure.
Right.
The math teachers out there can tell me. Here, now the size of my eraser, by the way, is adjustable. So I can make a really big eraser and just, whoops, I'm using the quick selection. Got to go to the circle brush. There we go. Whoop, make it really big and just brush away what I don't want.
Okay. Get those interesting. Yeah. Cool.
Pretty handy.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I can while you're having a go at that, because that looks really good.
Yeah.
Maybe I can have a go here. Right. So I mean, like Carl saying, this is collage. This is what it's all about. And I'm kind of building mine up here. And actually, I'm sort of playing around with sizes and stuff like that. And I was initially like, oh, the semicircle that you can see there, it's poking out on the left. I should maybe tuck it in. And then thought, well, actually, flowers, are all sorts of shapes and sizes and all sorts of
Right.
things popping out here and left and right. So actually, don't be worried about it being too uniform. Let's go back to our red shapes here. What have we got? Let's get some stuff done here. So this time, maybe I'm going to go for something a bit more contrasty. Maybe this one here. Maybe I'll stick a couple in just so I've got stuff to work with, and then I don't have to keep on coming back here. But oh, that one's nice as well. So you can see it's just spinning there. There we go. I'm going to add them both. Always move freely so you've got something to work with. Now here's where, so we don't on the iPad, we don't have the ability to kind of use the eraser tool and things like that. But I'm going to use a parallelogram here. Check out the knowledge. That is knowledge. That is knowledge.
That's a good shape.
Yeah, I know. I like it. So I'm going to click done here. And what I'm doing with mine, because the shape, I don't have quite the same control over shapes. I'm making sure that I'm playing around with the order of things. I'm playing around with the order of things. So I've got that on the top there. Now, if you take that off, it doesn't quite work there. But if I take the order and then move this slider, you can choose at which point you think, oh, yeah, that looks quite interesting. And there, I'm happy with that. Click done. And then I've got another one here if I want to use it. And what I'll do is edit, crop and shape on this one. I don't know. Do you know what? Maybe I'll use the heart actually, because I don't.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Because I don't actually need all the shape. The bit I'm interested in is kind of the curve on one side.
Smart.
So, that's kind of dominating the whole thing, and you think, oh, well, that wasn't a very good choice, was it, Dom? Why'd you do that? But then, if you play around with the order, nice.
That's really cool. Great choice.
Yeah, maybe that can go right at the back.
I like how that, and it almost lines up with that other semicircle.
Yeah.
That's a nice, see, this is the fun thing about all these shapes and layers is you can have some of them sort of touch and line up with each other and be aligned, sometimes not. You're just having fun with arranging everything, and you can get a very satisfying result.
Yeah. Hey, Kyle, you can say semicircle. We love hearing semicircle. Don't feel like you have to conform. We love hearing semicircle. Say it proud. That's what I say. Right.
All right.
Kyle, see where.
Look at that. I like how you just lined up the edge of that parallelogram with the semicircle there. That worked out really nicely.
Yeah.
Look at that.
There you go. Thanks, Carl. Right, let's have a look at Carl. Where is that? Let's go.
See, they look totally different from one another, but we're using the same technique. Now, in the interest of time, I'll go ahead and I'll just stop now. because I'm going to, and I could, of course, I could continue to play with this and rearrange and rearrange and rearrange, but it's fine. This is doing the trick. It's doing what it needs to do. So what I want to do, whoops, looks like Express wants me to resize it for some reason. I'm not sure what's going on there.
Maybe sometimes they're saying like it's too small, or sometimes it's just going crazy.
I think it's just going crazy. I'll just refresh it.
Yeah, why
This
not?
is the thing, is whatever you're working on is always being saved in the background, so you don't have to worry about losing your work.
Yeah,
all right, so bringing it back. There we go. So now I'm going to take this and I'm just going to group all of these together.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm dragging to select them all. And then I'm going to use this button right here that says group. Now, the reason for that is it's much easier then for me to place this wherever I want in my composition. I can, of course, enlarge it, right? So I'm just going to leave that right about in the center, slightly higher than the center. There we go. And I'm also going to rotate it slightly.
Oh, that's so much easier than having to do them all individually, isn't it?
Yeah. And now we need a stem. We need a stem. So I'm just going to go over here. And when I'm searching under media, I'm going to write line curved and see if we get any good kinds. So we have a whole bunch of photos. Okay. Now I'm not seeing it though. So I think the key is to search under elements.
Okay.
Design assets are different from photos. Now there's my most recent search. I'll just try that again. Aha. Now here's a line that's got an arrow. Remember that I can crop it or I can make only part of it visible depending on where I put the line. We have other options there. That's kind of interesting. That's kind of interesting. I don't want it to be too crazy. I want it to be fairly simple looking line. And I don't want it to have an interior, like a hollow sort of look. I want it to just be a line. This could also work if I get rid of the arrow. So we have maybe too many choices. I'm not sure what to do here. I think something like this is probably the simplest and probably what I want to go with. So I'm just going to tap on that. And we'll just bring that over here. Now, I'm going to rotate it a little bit and enlarge it. I want it to be a little thicker. See that? And it's okay if this falls off of my canvas. No worries. You can drag things so that they're only halfway visible. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And the next thing I'll do is I'll take it and just pull it down here. I'm rearranging my layers. So I'm putting it under the flower layer.
Okay.
Now, the thing that I need really, though, is for the color to change because it's not green. So what's the secret to doing that? Well, because this is a graphic and it's not a shape, I need to use my effects and adjustments. So I'm going to use effects because there's a really good one in there called duotone.
Yes.
And all I have to do is tap here on custom. And when I open that up, you'll notice I can change the colors. And right away, see, it's gone ahead and applied that blue color for the shadow. So if I say custom right here, I can just slide it on over to green.
Oh, nice.
Pretty nice. And then here I can reduce the intensity of that color, right? I don't want to be too crazy.
Yeah.
And then I can close that out. And now I've got a nice green stem for my poppy.
Very elegant.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to kick it over to you, that's fine. Or I can go one step further and show you how I'll make a leaf.
I tell you what, let me do that bit and then we can go back. Right.
Cool. I really like the shape of the poppy there. That looks great.
Yeah. So one thing you can do on the iPad if you want to get into the detail is just use your fingers on the screen to pinch and you can go in and out. Just make mine a little bit bigger. Right. Now, I'm going to go to add. You can see down there. Add, and then go to design assets, second on the left. And then it comes up here. Now, it's going to look slightly different depending on how things work here. So in the top left, I'm going to search for like curved line. Let's check out what goes on here. Now, with the search results on the iPad are very different. You could use a brushstroke. Now, Kyle, if you didn't know, by the way, Kyle is cool. He's like the global genius of brushes, by the way. Now, that might sound really weird thing to say, but I promise you, If you do some research on Kyle, you'll find he's the master of brushes. But go through all the different sections. You know, you've got different things. The trending doesn't really give you much. The curved line in here is a bit rubbish. Now, is there a reason, Carl, why you said line curved instead of curved line?
No, that was just me thinking I want a line and I want it to be curved, but it probably would have been, I think the results are probably the same either way, although I haven't checked.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if they would be slightly different. It's, you know, the way they search things is like sort of strange sometimes, isn't it? But I'm going to go for this one here. I'm going to go for a brush.
That's
And I
a
know it's
really
a
good
little bit more sort of slightly artistic kind of thing, but it's in there. Now, like Kyle said, you know, you can play with the size of things here. Let me just get one of the handles. That's called a handle. And then I can move it around just so I can see the full picture of it. Now, if I go to, which one is it? Adjust. If I go to adjust, I can flip it round. So I can flip it on its horizontal axis there. And then
Nice.
just kind of, yeah, just kind of move it up slightly. Now, I probably want to have it coming off here ever so slightly. Now, I'm going to pinch the screen and come out just so we can see everything that's going on. So like Carl said, you don't have to have everything on the screen. You can have some bits coming off. So I'll have my bits coming off. And then once that's in the sort of position I'm looking for, I'm going to press order, because like Carl said, you want to, he had layers down the side of his, but I've got the order kind of slider here, and I'm just going to do it until it goes right to the back. So just take it right down to the bottom. That's fine. And then you will go to something like looks. There it is. Yeah. And then you can see the filters on the bottom. You go to the duotone filter. Now it's immediately giving us a blue stem. I mean, it looks quite cool. Maybe not that realistic, but you can see the sliders on the duotone button there. If I press that, then I could kind of make things easier for myself by going in there and changing that up. You see what I did was I just, because this is a black and a green one, shadows and highlights, different colors, but because this is all one color, you can flip it to get it to be the green, and then press the slider again, and then in custom, you just, oh, how am I going to do this? I completely, oh, you can just slide along.
Oh, there, look at that. Aha.
Yeah, all sorts of different greens. I'll go to that green. That looks pretty good to me.
Nice.
Right. Let's kick it back over to Carl to get some more wisdom. Let's go.
Well, the good news is everybody already knows the process, and we're going to repeat it exactly the same way we did for the petals of the poppy, but we're going to use a different color. It's so easy. If I go back to
hang on,
media,
Carl. Hang on 1 second. One thing that I didn't show people, and I really need to show them. All right, I'm gonna steal it back just for a second. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Right. Kyle selected all of his poppy leaves.
Yes.
To do that. So if you select one of them, doesn't matter which one, go to one, and then you can go to, see down the bottom here, you've got select multiple. See the one I've got, it's turned gray there. If you select multiple, you can go to select all, and then you can go to next. Oh, sorry, I did that wrong. Let me do it again. Select multiple, select all, click next at the bottom, and then you can move that around all together at the same time. Okay, and
Beautiful.
also you can resize it like Carl did before as well. Sorry, I completely forgot to do that. So let me group them maybe, and then just turn it, and then I'm done. And then we're going to go back to Carl, because that's where we should be. Okay.
That grouping is, that's such a great thing to be able to do. It really simplifies things. It makes it so easy to organize too your file. After you've made something and you're satisfied with it, you can group it, and then it all just moves around. Very nice.
Cool.
Well, we're going to use the same process we use up front for the poppy petals. Instead of searching for red in my photos, I'll just search for green.
Okay.
And look, same kind of deal. Whole bunch of really lovely green stuff. Okay. So, of course, I could grab something that has a leafy texture. That's fun, right? Maybe kind of obvious, but so what? All kinds of lovely stuff. I could grab this. Whatever I want to use, the same technique as before. So I'll simply crop it, grab that semicircle, and look at that. Okay.
Yeah,
and I just take that leaf, position it wherever I like. Now I've got a nice leaf right there. Maybe I'll switch it over this way, put it over here.
You know, nice.
It's up to you. It's up to you. You can use whatever shape you like, make your leaf do whatever you want it to do. And then, of course, I can add more leaves. I think I'll just add maybe one more over here, maybe use a triangle just to make things a bit more, add some variety. Variety is the spice of life. Crop it. Triangle. Skinny it up.
Yeah.
And we'll just grab it, rotate it. And look at that. Very nice.
Nice. I mean, once
And
you've
we
done
have
it once, it's
there
easy,
you go.
isn't it?
Look at that.
Yeah, cool.
And by the way, you
Love it.
could use this technique for like try different colors and things for maybe you want it for Mother's Day or something. Make a card, right?
Yeah,
Um, and design it this way. This always looks really good. There's no way to really mess this up. It looks good no matter what you do.
yeah, very nice. Right, are you doing 2 leaves and leaving it there?
I'll
And
leave it
leaving
with
it
2
there?
leaves. I think 2 is good.
Oh
Could do
my
3,
days.
could do 4, whatever.
Yeah, okay. Can I let me have a quick go at that?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know, I'll let me just get rid of these. In fact, if I go, I'm using the back button in the top left there. Back, 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 back. So yeah, just same process. Press the add in the bottom left, go to Adobe Stock, go to green, search green in there. Come on, give me my, yeah, there we go. Click that. And then, you know, it doesn't really matter. Just like Carl said, one, click it. Then I'll get another one. Where am I going to go? Like that one straight underneath it, and then another one, that one there. Once I've got them highlighted, I can press add 3 in the top. They all come in, move freely. Remember to move them freely. And then like Carl was doing before, you're just cropping these bad boys however you like them. Let's just do 1, and then let's do 2. And then, like you said, you can play around with the size of it there. So that one's good to me. Always pressing done in the bottom right. And then this one's a slightly greener, a sort of light green with the sun coming through it. And then maybe for that one, I mean, I don't even know. I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll do like a right angle triangle for that one. Something like that.
Sure.
There we go.
The
And
nice thing
then,
is that you can always change the crop later. If you tap on it and change the crop, it's the same photo. You have,
yeah, that's true. That's
yeah,
very true. So you can just keep on playing with these. There we go. Nice. I might have to play with the order of them. That might be a good thing to do. Uh, you can play with them up, play with them here, and then
the best
don't
thing
forget.
about this is that each of your leaves has a completely different personality to it with the color and the pattern, that's just what makes collage look so cool.
Yeah, for sure. And you can get different sizes on there. Now, one thing I would say is that you know, you will have to play with the order. You know, you might want to move. Now, maybe I don't want to move the stem up. Maybe I'd rather move the individual pieces down until, or maybe I do want them to go right at the back, actually. I hadn't really thought about that. Yeah, maybe they all need to go right at the back. Just so that the stem kind of comes up. And maybe, I mean, they can sit on top. Why not, I suppose? One of them can
Yeah,
sit on
one or two could sit in front, one could sit behind. That
Yeah,
adds more dimension. You know, it's you want to yeah, you want to just it's always about having things not be the same. It's about you don't want to be repetitive with it. So what makes it work so well is different shapes,
the
front,
randomness of it.
all that nice stuff.
Yeah,
So
cool.
I wanted to put a ground down here, Dom. I want to put the flower in something. I mean, of course, you could just leave it like this. It's lovely. If you wanted to do that, you know, this is the kind of thing that could work as a card. You could put it off to the side like this. You could angle it slightly, and that gives it some nice balance. And then put a little message right here. You know,
Yeah,
um,
that's
I love
nice.
you, Mom. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
But for our purposes today, what I want to do is I want to take this and I want to put a ground down here for myself. Now I was thinking it should be black because the story that we share it with everybody through the website about the importance and significance of these poppies that everyone uses for Remembrance Day is that these poppies were growing in the battlefield despite all the
yeah,
devastation and all the destruction and the ash on the ground, the black earth, you know, with these poppies growing out. They're very resilient flowers. Um, so to put that black ground down there, you could just use a rectangle. That would be fine. I want to try something. I just want to search under elements here. I'm going to try torn paper. I'm hoping I'll find something that has to it. That's kind of interesting.
okay.
I have a lot of options here. There's a shape right there I could use. We got some interesting stuff there. Um, More stuff there. Lots and lots of choices. Lots of things to play with. It's kind of hard to decide. I really like this too. That's kind of nice. I
On
want to show
paper,
you a trick. I'll grab that cardboard. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it much, much bigger. Okay.
Oh, nice. Look at the detail and the texture there.
Isn't that nice? I'll plop it down
Yeah.
there. And what I'm going to do with this is, you remember that we have the option to edit these by using effects and things like that. So right here under effects, adjustments, I'm going to go to adjustments and see if I can't make it a lot darker like this.
Right.
And I can also play with things like this, bring the contrast down or up. I'm not sure which will be better. Maybe a bit more contrast is nice. So that's about as dark as I can make it. But I have another trick for you, Dom.
Oh, yeah.
Are you ready? This is where we're getting really fancy. Okay, so folks, this is the advanced stuff. This is what you come here for, okay? This is where really we're going to just pull out all the stops. I'm going to resize my flower and stem and pull it up here just a little ways so we've got some room, and it looks like it's got some breathing room there. But here we go. There's my cool cardboard ground. Now, I could leave it like that. It's actually got a nice personality to it and everything. But if I really want to sell this idea that the ground is really dark and really burnt, right? I'm going to take this layer and duplicate it, okay?
Ooh. Oh, yeah.
And then here it comes. Blend modes.
Oh, yeah.
Tap on blend. And when I go to multiply, see that?
Nice.
Ba-bam. It takes whatever you've got. It darkens whatever's underneath it.
I gotcha. Gotcha.
Now, you don't have to do that. I'm just showing you a really cool, fancy, advanced trick for all the pro designers out there, okay? All right. Dom, how you doing over there?
Yeah, not bad, actually. Let me have a go. So
where'd you get that?
Yeah, I don't know. This is what I mean. You see, every time you search, it's sort of different. So don't be sort of too hung up on, oh, he's searched for this or they've searched for that. Let me just come out of this and delete it. Let me get rid of it first. Right. So that one I can edit, delete. Oh, remove background. What am I doing? I don't want to remove background. I just want to get rid of it. Right. Delete. Right. So here I'm going to add, and then I went to design assets, and then torn paper. That was where we were going first. Now it does look slightly different when you search for it on the iPad, because it kind of comes up with this stuff and you're like, what? What's going on here? These are
weird. Oh, look at that. That's a nice one. Oh, look at those. Wow.
Yeah, there's some really cool ones down here. But I don't know why, but I just went for this one. And then I went to add one. It puts it in there. So it's the same principle if you're doing it on the iPad or if you're doing it on the desktop. I'm just going to just take it off axis just ever so slightly, bring it down. And then, so Carl used the blend mode. I could use that. I suppose I went to looks. I went to darken. It darkened up a little bit, but actually I went to duotone. And then if I clicked it again, I just chose one with like a black in there, and then just switched it up.
There you go. Problem solved.
Yeah, that is one way of doing it. It doesn't quite have the same sort of texture and tone that yours did. So I could darken it and then click done and then select it again, edit, duplicate it. You can see that one there. Right, that's put it on top. And then I could blend mode it and then multiply. Yeah. And then we've kind of got like a sort of crispy top going on here. I kind of like that. And then, you kind of sort of drag it off so it blends and gives a lot of.
Oh, that looks cool.
Yeah.
When you offset it and then dropped it again, like a little.
Yeah. And then I could reduce the opacity on it, maybe, I guess. I don't know whether there's that much texture underneath though to sort of warrant that, but yeah, maybe not. But anyway, I'm happy with that. That looks cool enough to me.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Go on then. Let's finish this bad boy off.
Well, here we go. Text. I'm just tapping on text. Add your text. I'm going to add some text here, and I'll just move that up here. and I'm going to resize it. I want it to be smaller because what I'm going to do now, Dom, is use the first 2 lines of the John McCrae poem,
Yes.
Flanders Fields. Now, if we go back to the website, okay, you'll see that we have some info. We have the Remembrance Day page, and then we have the John McCrae poem in Flanders Fields. Now, I don't remember if we put the website on there. Oh, here we go. But boom, this is exactly what I'm looking for. These 2 lines. Ta-da!
Yeah.
So I'm just grabbing those, copying them. That's Control C if you want to know the handy
Shortcut for it.
shortcut. And here I'm going to select this text, Control V. I'm going to paste it in there just like so. Okay, and we'll make that a bit smaller. All right, now I think this font it's actually fine. You know, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. But don't forget, you have choices. You have over 14,000 fonts you can choose from thanks to the Adobe font library. That might be a few too many, but you can always check out to see if they're recommending any certain kind of. Oh, I like this. This is quite nice. That's quite nice. There we go. Let's see. What is that called? That's called Josephine Slab. I don't know about that word slab, but anyway.
You know what? Font names are just, I mean, I think somebody must be having a joke sometimes. I don't know what goes on.
Putting the ellipses there at the end to show that, you know, this would continue, but this is really what we want. And now I've got my text in there, and I want to just grab that text and duplicate it. That's our favorite thing, right? I'm going to pull it all the way down here to the bottom. And what I'm going to do is change the fill color to white.
Nice.
And with that, I'll just select that text, and we have hopefully some different, see this, different weights they're called in this font family. This semi-bold one I like. I want to use the same font, but just, you know, a different weight of it here.
Okay.
And I'm going to use all capital letters and write "We remember you."
Oh, I see what you're doing. Yes.
And I'll put that right there. Now, you know, if things start to get a little cramped and crowded there at the bottom, remember, you can do this. You can, wow, just drag and select. Okay. And then just pull it on up.
Yeah.
Give yourself a little room. You want to have some breathing room. Breathing room's good in your design, right? You never want to cram things down right to the very base or bottom of your design. Things get a little bit kind of crowded there.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. In Flanders Fields, poppies blow between the crosses, row on row. Now, this is a nice, clean, simple design. I can leave it like this. There's a couple other things I want to try, but first, Dom, I want to see how you're doing over there.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go back here next. Right. Let me go back here. So, where am I at? Well, I'll tell you where I'm at first. I've got my text, and I went to the page and I copied it. Well, I just typed it in. Why am I even telling you any different? But what I wanted to do here was I can just pinch to change the size of the text, but I haven't got enough room at the top of mine. And actually this does get a little bit fiddly with the iPad. So what I'm going to do is going to select multiple things on here, trying to get all of the like stem and everything together, and then click next. And then I'm going to group them. And then, I left a couple behind, but that's all right. What I'm going to do, I want to give myself some space, you see. I'm kind of making things go crazy a bit here. And then I'm going to ungroup them. You
could always select everything, resize it a little smaller, and then just grab a couple of bits and make them bigger again. That might be okay.
Yeah, that's true. I'm in it now, so I'll just bludgeon my way through it. And then so I wanted to get some space basically, and I haven't really got loads of space. But I'm going to bring my Flanders Fields text up to the top. I centered it there. Now the color of it is white, so let me go to black. There we go. Don't mind the fact that overlaps. That's okay. And then click done. I have got a lot of kind of resizing work to do here. I've kind of made a bit of a boo-boo going on here, but you'll have more time to do this, and you can pause and do what you need to do. Change the order to that, get it right to the back. Then what was the detail that you put on the bottom? We will remember them, right? So
Yeah, you can
if
say
I
anything, something along those lines. Yeah. I
yeah,
put we
okay,
remember you, but anything like that.
yeah, okay, cool. So I've got my text at the top. I'm going to duplicate it, and then here I'm going to select that text, and then we will remember them. Okay, we'll remember them. I might put a full stop in there. I'll click done, and then here I'm going to squeeze that box out. Let me just, you can zoom in and out with the text. We'll go to color down at the bottom, change that color to white because it's going to go on top of this kind of Flanders field that we've got down at the bottom. I mean, ideally, I probably would have made sure it was a little bit. I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for that dotted line. There it was. Keep on missing it. Yeah, come on.
I
There it is.
I have a hard time finding it sometimes too. It just doesn't want to show me that it's centered.
Yeah, I know exactly. But that's how you do that. And then I mean, I think we're pretty close to done here, aren't we?
That looks really good.
Yeah, I've definitely got some aligning to do. I kind of messed things up with the grouping. But just because we're moving back and forth, I don't want to, spend too much time just showing you everything that's going on here. Wow, look at that. So nice. Yeah, so
So
it's
there
time
we
to play
go.
around. For me, it's time to play around with the spacing of everything on the page. So it's got a little bit more space like Kyle's has.
Yeah, and that now you're free to leave it as is. Of course, if you want to try a few things, I can show you in just 1 minute what you could do. But I think then we should move on to the web page and have so people have time to see how we would do something like that as well. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to put that border on, then do it. I think that's good.
All right, here we go. So what I've done is in the elements, I just searched for the word flourish.
Oh yeah.
Flourish. It's fun to say that word. There are so
Flourish.
many different choices here. You can do whatever you like. But we know that we can crop and do things like that. I could just grab this, for example, and I can just use the bottom bit or the top bit, as a nice sort of touch. And if I crop it, I can just show the bottom bit there. And I'll zoom in so you can see this a little more because I'm sure it's way too small on your displays. There we go. So what I've done is I've added this little flourish. And I of course can use colors. I can go to effects and use a duotone, and we can
Oh,
just
that's a nice
change.
detail. That is a lovely detail.
Yeah, so just it's the kind of thing that it's a nice little thing to sort of round it out, and it makes text a little less sort of lonely. I think
Yeah,
you could look at it that way, just to put that
yeah,
in
yeah,
there, and
yeah.
I'm bringing that green in from the design, and then finally under shapes, if I just go to the basic shapes, we have rectangles. So if I say view all, here's one. And you may think, oh, you're about to ruin everything by covering it up with a big gray square. I assure you that's not my plan. I'm just going to bring it down here like this. And you notice that we have two colors, a border color and an interior color or fill color. If I take
Yeah.
the fill color, I can use this little option here, which says, nope, don't want it, goodbye. And now it's
Right.
gone. And then for the border, I can change the border color too, and I can use red, right? And here's this
Okay.
guy, the eyedropper tool. This lets me just go over anywhere in my design and select some red from the design. Now you can never see the eyedropper when we're sharing these live streams. I'm not sure why, but the
Oh, I
eyedropper lets
see.
you
Yeah.
select color.
I think you have to select entire screen when you're actually sharing your screen,
Ah,
which
that's
is
the key. That's the key. So
yeah.
I'm just reducing the width of that. And now we've got the red border and so that really is a nice sort of finishing that you do not have to do this. But I just like to show these little elements you could add.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's nice. Oh yeah, that's lovely. That's really nice. But it's the same on the iPad. I think let me just quickly bring it over. And then if I could go to shapes here, just like Carl did before, and I could select, like a square, for example, add it in. And then for this one, you can go to the color, and you could switch that up. So the border, maybe I'd switch the border to the pink, and the
Oh, I
fill,
like the pink. Yeah. Huh.
yeah, fill could go to none. And then, like Carl did before, let's go over there, click done, and then you can, you know, put that in wherever you need to. And then the fill didn't go to none. There we go. It's gone to none now. And then you can stick that up wherever you like, just as
There
quick
you
as you.
go. There
And you
you
might
go.
want to change the color. I think we move on now. We'll move
Sure.
on.
Here we
Yeah.
go.
Hey, look at this. Yeah, Drury Primary School in Flintshire, live and enjoy our
Oh,
lesson. Poppies are fantastic. That's what we like to see.
oh, that's what we want to hear. That's
Yeah.
great. I'm so happy.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Right. I'm gonna move on. Actually, let me while I'm just setting up page. Carl, do you want to just rock us with a page?
Yeah, here
Just
we
very
go. So
quickly.
I'm back on our home screen. I'm heading over to web page, create from scratch. And what we're going to do is make a little informational page about Remembrance Day. So what should my title be? Well, I think Remembrance Day is a good one.
Pretty good. That's what that's what he's here for.
Yeah, thanks. All right. Now remember, we've provided for you all this nice information here. Okay. So for your let's go back here we go. I'll just go ahead and name this Remembrance Day site. There we go. And for the subtitle, you could put whatever you like, but some facts and information, whatever you
Yeah.
like.
Or a name.
Okay.
Put a name in.
Now, we need something here, right? It's looking a little bland.
Yeah.
So look at this photo. Aha.
Easy.
So now I could put a lot of different things. I'm going to put though poppy flower and aha. Look at
Oh yeah.
my
An easy
results.
way to make it look so slick so quickly.
I know. I think this is really lovely. Now I have to keep in mind how will it look against the type, right?
Yeah.
So let's see what happens if I try this. Ah, it reads quite nicely. It reads quite nicely.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a good way to start.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right,
Let me get us there on the iPad,
go
just
for
so
it.
people feel like they can get started. Right. So what are we using for this? Well, we're using Express Page. If you go in
Aha.
here and you got Express like Spark Page as it's called, in fact. So I'm going to go there, and then just to get started, dead easy. Press the plus in there. The pages are everywhere. Cool. Okay, now it's brought us in here. You can go in here and add a title. Let me see. I've never used the dictation on this because this is a new iPad. Let me try it. Enable dictation. Not now. Okay, got it. You're gonna let me do it? Come on. Remembrance Day. Nice. That
Very
was nice.
cool.
Yeah. And then I'll just put my name in. That's fine. And then in order to get that beautiful photo that Kyle had on there, you can see it's already suggesting it for me. Click that photo button, and then I'll go to find free images, top right there. I'll go to Poppy Fields or Poppy Field, maybe something like that. What have we got going on here? Come on, yeah. That one looks good to me.
Oh,
Yeah.
lovely.
Yeah, and you can actually grab the text and put it into different places and stuff like that if you think that would work. And
I didn't
then
know you
down
could
here,
do that.
yeah, and then scroll to start writing your story. But I'll kick it over to Carl because it is exactly the same now, really. It's sort of exactly the same. So you can keep real time with with Kyle now if you'd like to, and I'll just follow on behind and show a different version.
Well, here I am. I'm going to do a split layout. That'll allow me to have some text on one side and photo on the other. So let's
Yeah,
do a split layout. Now you can
love
see
it.
that it's divided for me. I can put an image here. So I think for this, what I'll do is I'm going to just try World War One and see what kinds of images we have. So obviously I don't want a Viking. That's probably not going to work for me. I might want
Yeah,
to.
you know what? You might actually get better results if you put WW1
WW1. Okay.
because I
Oh,
think
well, looks
sometimes
copy. That's interesting.
yeah, I think I've found that before. I can't remember why or when I found that, but I think that's true.
I think this barbed wire fencing with the earth is a good one. I like that.
Yeah, yeah, just like the
That's quite
trenches.
evocative. All right, and now for this,
Oh, we have lost. He's going to come back. His internet's a bit dodgy today.
Oh,
It's not
there it
too.
goes.
There he is.
So we have the origins of Remembrance Day. Why don't we go ahead and just grab the text right there, and I'll copy that. Come back to our Remembrance Day site here, and we say we want to add some text. Kablam. Okay. Now I would very much like to have a title for that. Okay. Remember, it was.
We need to have more kablams. Bring the kablams on. We like the kablams.
So here, where we have these plus signs, you can add all kinds of goodies. I want to have a little title here, so I'll just put text again, and we'll say Origins of Remembrance Day. And you notice that I'm using all capital letters. This helps to distinguish it from the text that's underneath that is not all capitals. So we have our photo, we have our text. Now, if at any point you want inside the text to do anything like modify it slightly, you notice that I have some options up there that, so let me just select all of that. And you'll see here we have, look at this, bold, headers, etc. If I type header, I can check to see what that looks like. This second one here is about the right size, I think. I could always just keep it to regular text and make it bold. It's another way to do it. I just want it to stand out a little bit from what's here. All right.
Yeah.
Now you also have the option in here inside this text to alter it and make it cool. All right. So there you go. Dom, how are you doing over there with your second page?
Yeah, good. Let me take it back here. So I just followed what Carl did. I mean, one of the things that I could show actually is if I was going to put a split layout in again, I could go back to I've got the Google Doc open here. If I was going to copy and paste all of this section of text, for example, copy that, go back to my Express page, I can press the plus, go to text, and actually because I've selected the title and that section of text, it already puts it into two sections for me, which is kind of handy. And then I could go to header 2. One thing that I am going to say is keep all your headers the same. Get that consistency of style.
That's important. Yes.
Forever about consistency of style. He's always stylish in a very consistent way. I can tell you that right now. Yeah. So that makes it easier for the reader to understand. Oh, right. That's a section that we need to read the title, and then underneath is some detail or whatever it is. So and you can also change things up by just putting return, pressing return or enter, and then you'll get back get two sections in there if you want to do that. And you could also select bits of text. Oops, come here. I do think that sometimes. Oh, come on! Right, come on, we can do it. Yeah, there we go. If you wanted to highlight a quote, for example, you can put the quote in bold, something like that. And then also, what kind of images could you put in? Now, it depends on how you want to do it. Like, you could just always use free images. Now, I put in the cenotaph here, which is the empty tomb. So that's the one that represents everyone who died in the war. You can say that that's where, someone was buried. They're buried at the cenotaph. That's a place where, that you can go and celebrate. And it's one of the most important places where people can go and celebrate things like that. But also you could, go to, not that one. Let's go up here. You could, type in cenotaph. If you can't find the certain things that you need, you can go to, go away. First I'm using this iPad to see, so it's doing all sorts of things. But if you go to images, then you can go and find the one that you actually want. And, fair educational use says that you can copy these pages, save in photos. Okay. Or you could just, so now that it's in my photos, I could go back to here, press on that photo, press replace, go back again on my iPad. It's in my recents. It's right there. And there it is.
Excellent. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, nice.
The key thing there was that fair use. I mean, that if you know that it's fair use, it's fair use. That's important.
Yeah, absolutely. Wonka, we're on you again here. So you're doing
So I've
like,
gone
yeah,
ahead and you can see what I've done here. I'm just changing the layout to keep it interesting for the viewer and the reader,
yeah,
right? Here we have this layout with the split view with the photo and the text, but then just underneath it, what I've done is selected a photo.
beautiful. That's
And then,
beautiful.
well, it works really well because it's floating.
Yeah.
So if you think about something floating, what you want to think about is what's called a vignette. Is it
Oh,
a,
what are these
yeah,
words?
an
Talk to me. Talk to me.
image or illustration that has its own boundaries that are irregular? So it's like a floating image of some kind. Rather, it doesn't have a rectangular boundary, but this is a vignette. So you can see that
That's what
this
a
is.
vignette is.
Yeah, well, it's in design terms. Of course, vignette also means totally different thing when you're talking about storytelling and so on. But in terms of an image for a design or illustration design for a magazine, if you're talking about a vignette in the layout, means it's got its own sort of boundaries and can sit on a page without
Right.
it bumping up against something because of its straight edges and not being easy to work with. So this is
Did
a
not know.
floating image,
Right. Wow.
another way of thinking of it. And I, instead of adding the text as a separate little bit here, what I did was I used the caption option. When you add a photo, you
Gotcha.
can put a caption there. So I've
Tell
just
you what,
added.
just delete that, or copy and delete that text and just show us where that caption thing is.
Yeah, happy to. So I'll just copy and delete that. See here, I have the
Ah,
photo. It automatically says add a caption. It makes that
nice.
an option. Now you don't have to, but
Sneaky
since
trick.
it's already there you go.
Love it.
And you can
Yeah, that
even
works
select
really well,
parts of it,
actually.
and you can make it bold. You can customize it as you wish.
Yeah, that's really nice. I don't think I've ever used it in that way before. That's a really nice tip. A little sneaky tip there.
If you have a little type, it's good. If you have a lot of type, it's not so good because it is written at a smaller size.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a good tip, actually. It does that does make sense to me, to be fair. Why don't
there's-
so what how you've done 2 sections there out of your 4.
right.
Why don't you quickly just do a glide show for the last 2?
Here we go. Glide show. So what this does
Yeah.
is allows you to use multiple photos. Add a few background photos to your glide show. Okay. Now I've still got the poppies, and that does seem to be probably the best thing to start with.
I mean, I suppose
So
it depends on
let's.
what the section 3 and 4 are, aren't they? There's like the poppy again, and then Remembrance Day in other countries. So you could do, yeah, you got different things that you could do there.
I can do that. I can
That's beautiful.
do. Um,
What could you search for there? I mean, maybe like eyes closed, prayer or something like that. Maybe that would be good. I don't know.
I liked that photo you had of the warplanes. That was kind of nice.
Yeah.
Although we're not really talking about planes, so maybe not.
Yeah, but I mean that's the thing, isn't it? You've got all the options that you actually want there. You can do whatever you like.
Nice one's Remembrance.
Yeah. You know what? I think the candle's a really nice one.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, this is nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Just that idea of stillness and calm and thinking about something else.
I like that.
Yeah. I mean, what I tend to do with the glide shows is just have like one section for each piece of text, maybe.
There we go. So we can just throw in 4 little bits of text for each of these images.
Yeah.
There we go. Save that. You can see here that now I have the option to add text to each of these last 4 bits. Okay. So if I
Yeah.
go to my Remembrance Day, I can grab the 2-minute silence. In fact, I'll grab the title as well.
It is
And
quite handy
see.
the way it separates it out for you, to be fair.
And here we go. Text. Voila. All right, and then here it even knew that this was a separate bit, which is great.
Mm.
And as you mentioned, keep it consistent. So I'm using all capitals, right?
Right, got
Then
you.
I can scroll on down and look. There's my next little photo. How lovely. I can grab this little bit here. Remembrance Day in other countries. Now I don't have more text to fill out the other 2. I can always get rid of them, but it'd be nice to have at least one more. So if I wanted to add a bit more information, why not?
Yeah, exactly that. Cool.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. But I mean, what I'll just take it back here because what I'll do here just before we wrap things up, if you want to do a glide show on the iPad, exactly the same thing. Click there, go to glide show, add your photos, whichever ones you want to do, and then they go straight in there. But one thing I do want to show before we move off is you can go to the top, and then on the iPad it's slightly different to share things. You press the little share button there, create a public link, and it'll do all of that stuff for you. It's obviously always slightly different on the iPad when you're sharing compared to when you're on the desktop. But if Kyle just shows us briefly how to share on the desktop, then we can wrap it up.
Here we go. Purple button, very easy, can't miss it. Share. We have publish to web. That's the magic one. And you can put some credits there if you wish. Okay, we got everything. But if you say create link, this is going to publish the project. And what it means is it's going to create a unique link. And this link you can share with everybody all over the place. Maybe, you got your friends over there in Singapore who want to learn about this. Do whatever you want. Just send it out. And there it is. Look at that. Copy it, paste it, blanket the world with it. You've made something nice. Let people be educated. Thanks to your brilliance.
Cool. And yeah, same on the iPad. That one's popped up as well. You can see it there. Copy to the clipboard. You can send it out to whoever you want. All righty. That's us. We're all done. We're slightly over time, so let's rush through. What do you need to do? You need to complete your challenges. Tell your teacher. Get free swag. Check out an email from me, teachers. You're going to get it. Get some free stuff for those hardworking pupils. And then sign up for another session. Carl and I are here all year to the end of eternity doing these sessions.
Back.
So please do come along and see us. And if you've got any problems or anything like that, you can email me because you should have got an email from me already anyway. All right. Nice to see you all. Kyle, anything else to say?
Yes, for every pound of chocolate you eat, you need about 6 ounces of toothpaste. Don't forget.
Nice one.